Be angry, but do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your anger. How would we translate this passage? It is, of course, okay to be angry. Anger is a God-given emotion that all of us own and all of us experience. Do not sin. Be careful not to let your anger drive you to doing things that you will regret, doing things that are wrong. Do not let the sun go down on your anger. In other words, deal with your anger. Deal with your anger. Of course, it may not be possible to do so in one day. Some anger takes a long time to deal with properly. That we know. Paul knows about anger, his own anger, and the sins that result. He had violently persecuted the followers of Jesus before his own conversion. Paul's experience of violently persecuting the very people he would join with as a believer in Jesus as the Messiah might lead him to the expression, "Do not let the sun go down on your anger." Don't accept anger as it is, but understand your anger. Know what it means for you and where it comes from. Your anger may be perfectly justified. It often is. But anger, as Paul knew, can take on a life of its own and can lead to disastrous consequences, even though it was initially entirely justified. Be angry, Paul is saying, but be careful with anger. Don't live to regret actions that may result from your anger, as Paul did. Anger is a personal emotion. Each person, every one of you is angry in your own way, for your own reasons. How do you experience anger? How do you express anger? How do you understand your own anger? Be angry, Paul writes, meaning you will be angry. And you have a right to be angry. Don't judge yourself for simply being or getting angry, but don't leave it there. Don't let the sun go down on your anger. You will miss the chance at greater self-understanding and a greater understanding of the world around you. Anger is everywhere, including in you. Not letting the sun go down on your anger is an invitation to resolve your anger, to understand your anger, to move on from your anger, to learn from your anger. One person is harassed by a honking, shouting motorist and shouts back using threatening language. A fist fight ensues. Happens all the time. Another person is harassed by the same honking, shouting motorist and quickly pulls off the road to the side, letting the motorist go on his way. Why? Why one? Why the other? which reaction would be yours. Could you react both ways on different days? Note that the person who pulled off may have been angry, may have been very angry. Did he or she understand themselves and their anger better than the one who got into the fist fight? We live in an angry society and an angry world. And there are legitimate things to be angry about. One wonders why the young are not more angry about climate change. And those of us who have caused climate change and do so little about climate change. Where is that anger? Where is it being parked? One question that tends to untangle anger and even expose its underpinnings is, what are you going to do about the situation that is making you angry? Do you act in some way? Or do you stew in your own juices? Sometimes it's a matter of telling a friend. Just telling a friend and letting the whole thing go. You may want to confront the person who has angered you, or you may want to sever the relationship, knock the dust off your sandals. You may get into a situation at work, and probably a number of people in this room have been in this situation where you're in a work situation. Person above you was making you angry, your anger was justified, and you couldn't do anything about it. Ooh. Then you got to find outlets outside the workplace. But you also got to recognize how difficult that is. Your anger is justified, and there's nothing you can do about it. That happens in life. Know where you are. Know how you're feeling. A young person may get angry, teenager in high school, reading about slavery. Go on to get a PhD in history and African American studies and spend a lifetime researching and teaching the subject. Anger can motivate in positive, powerful ways. Know your own anger and its uses. The organizers, neighborhood organizers that we hear so much about, they use anger as motivation. You may want to attend a protest or a rally or write a letter, make a phone call. What do you do when you experience anger? Your response to anger is telling, even when it is completely legitimate. It's your response that defines you. And it's your response that is the occasion for spiritual and emotional growth as you go through the process. Did you ever meet a person who says they never get angry? Don't believe them. Ask them where they store their anger. Ask them, if you really want to be blunt with them, if they're passive aggressive. Most times they are. Ever meet a person who says, I don't get mad, I get even? Beware that person. Stay clear of them. Getting even is never the solution, and it is often the motivation for more anger. Know your anger. Know what angers you. What angers you may not anger anybody else. Fair enough. Know your anger, how you get angry, what you do with your anger. Don't let the sun go down on your anger. It will be there in the morning. Anger, the psychologists tell us, and Paul seems to have understood, is often a reaction to and a distraction from inner suffering. Anger is often a reaction to and a distraction from inner suffering. Feelings of sadness, feelings of powerlessness, feelings of shame, inadequacy, depression may be intolerable. Your soul can't tolerate those feelings. And they may lead to anger and even chronic anger. Are you, just between you and God, are you an angry person? Do you know why? Does anger help you not face other issues in your life? The truth may set you free from anger and its consequences, free to live more abundantly. It is okay to be angry. Anger is a legitimate and God-created human emotion. We all feel anger, one time and another. Understanding your individual anger is a road to spiritual growth and to emotional growth and to contentment in life. Why is our world so angry? Why is so much anger in the United States of America? Everyone seems to have a grievance, saying hard, nasty things about other people is a national pastime. Yet we live, all of us, we live materially better than any people in history. We in the United States have more advantages, more gadgets, more amusements, more just plain stuff than the rest of the world. There seems to be a lack of personal accountability, of ownership. That realization that my life is largely the way it is because of my own doing. Even though your grievances and your anger may be legitimate, based in reality, it is still your life to fashion, to mold, to make, to live. Do you own it? Do you own it? Hook, line, and sinker. We know, of course, that much anger results from early life experiences, from things that happened within our families of origin. Volumes have been written on birth order alone. Being angry toward those you love most and count on most can present lifelong difficulties. Did you grow up with anger? Was there anger in your household? Perhaps worse, was anger forbidden in your home? Much to think about for all of us. What scars do you bring from early childhood? Old anger. This is where it gets tricky. Old anger may be completely valid, but inappropriate to the present situation. And most of us have experienced that. We were angry in the present, only to think later and say, we were really angry about something that happened 10 years previously. Paul opens the door on anger this morning by saying simply, be angry. He might have added, because everyone is angry. Or he might have added, because you can't avoid being angry. It comes with being human. What he does say is to deal with your anger. Do not let the sun go down on it. Deal with your anger. The sooner, the better. Know your anger. Understand your anger. Identify your anger as valid or misplaced. Understand where your anger might emanate from. Embrace your anger. It belongs to you. Think about how you would like, to your benefit, to respond to the anger you feel. When you get angry, remember Paul. Be angry and use your anger to make your life better and the world around you better. Amen.